Hi all, and welcome back. This is Whiskey Book. What do you mean there's nobody to talk to? I've got like 6 followers. Come on, give me a break, man. Jerk. Anyway, welcome to Whiskey Book, where we talk about whiskey and books, and we try to relate them. So stay tuned for the terminal list. So why am I LARPing out today? Again, I just like this. No, I got a cool one today. This is, ring. There we go. Yep, light ring. Hate the light ring. The Terminal List by Jack Carr, former Navy SEAL, now awesome author out of Utah. And you know what? I've got whiskey out of Utah. High West. That's what we're going to be doing today, and I can't wait. Stuff's supposed to be pretty good. So why am I doing this? Well, the Terminal List, it's going to be a mini-series on Amazon Prime. No, I'm not sponsored. Again, I have like 6 followers. Nobody is sponsoring me, and the book just went off. It's a problem with these things. Be nice to have, you know, a real book here, but I read so much on, I get the audiobooks all the time. I can play games, play audiobooks, or drive, do audiobooks. It's a good thing. So down the rabbit hole again. If I don't do anything, I go down the rabbit hole. I hope you can hear me. Again, got my little motorcycle guy with the mic, so it's not right up to my mouth when I drink, and I don't boop, boop. I do anyway, but maybe you don't hear it as much. So the Terminal List, an Amazon Prime series, but that's not what makes it cool. What makes it cool is the author, Jack Carr, former Navy SEAL. He's got this whole Terminal List series out, and we're going to do the first one in the book called The Terminal List. And what's the Terminal List about? The Terminal List is a story of revenge, and it's a cool one. Usually I'm not into revenge so much. At my age, it's getting a little boring. I've seen so many movies and books about revenge things, and I can't tell you who he's going after or why he's going after it. I don't want to spoil the book for you, but in a nutshell, this is a story about revenge, a list of people that need revenge done on them, and the cool way that James Reese, who is the main character in this story, the protagonist, it's how he fits in, why he's getting revenge, and all about the skills and equipment he uses. There is a lot of equipment in these books. And in the Terminal List, a little less than some of the later ones, and we'll get to that. What's really cool about this, I should have put this in the beginning, I'm going to do the whole series. I'm going to do a different whiskey with a different book, starting with High West, because one, I know Mr. Jack Carr has some High West whiskey, he being down there in, I say down, I'm in Montana, he's down in Utah. I've seen High West on his counter before. I know he's an aficionado of some good spirits, so that's good stuff, because so am I. I'm trying to decide, should I get a drink while I'm doing the review of the book? Yeah, let's do that. Let's pour some. And again, I am torturing myself by opening a bottle in front of everybody, and I don't know why I do this, but I got my little buck folder here. I'm not even sure what this one's called. I don't know. It's a cool little buck knife. Not my main squeeze, but it works good for opening cardboard boxes. I think last time I had my Kershaw. They're both about the same. They kind of feel the same, have the same. I know this, it's not a knife review, but come on now. I'm wearing a kit. You got to do some gear review. There's probably like a tab here that I'm totally missing, but what fun is there in that? Because there's no struggle in that, and that's part of this whole thing, is me struggling to get the cap off. All right, hear the cork pop. All right, try that again. All right, that's better. Good to go. Okay, I'm gonna pour us some High West American Prairie Bourbon. What is this? before we get into the book, let's do the whiskey first this time. This is High West American Prairie Bourbon, a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, bottled by High West Distillery, Park City, Utah. It is 46, oh really? 46 alcohol by volume. Make me do math. What, 92? 92 proof. What's cool, I don't know if you can tell, bottle isn't, it's got like these sparkles in it. Kind of neat. Anyway, let's nose this up a little bit. Well, it's lighter. Yeah, a little bit lighter. Maybe a little grain forward. I'm not getting anything that really punches out to me. I get a little over on this side. I found, I really do. You'd really do if you have, especially with these Glencairns glasses, if you nose different parts of the glass, you definitely get different smells. Way off over here to the side, I get a citrus, almost an orange, right over here, and then in the middle, I get maybe light honey, tea. It is very light indeed. All right, before we go into the drinking of said bourbon, let's do some book stuff. Terminal list. James Reese is the Navy SEAL who needs to kick some butt because people have taken some things from him. Story of revenge. It's a story of erosion of rights. Too much government. There's a lot of there's even a mention in the book, the slow death of freedom. Sorry to cut you off like that. I find that if I go over 8 minutes per recording, I have to do some weird cloud stuff because it won't go straight to my computer. So yeah, my equipment's not up there now. But anyway, spicy starts with revenge. Let's hope this bourbon's spicy. I feel like some spicy. God, that's got a little, it's gonna be the second one in a row. I think I had some, actually had some Blantons the other day. And this has like a lighter Blanton's, which is the Buffalo Trace thing, which I got last time, which also, I've had a lot of Irish whiskeys lately, and this more on that side, the lighter side. Okay, so anyway, betrayed by government, betrayed by some other people. What does this book have? This book starts with a Navy SEAL who's out on a mission. Mission goes wrong. You have to read the book to understand why the mission goes wrong, because that's a big part of the story that goes on. You find out that there is some definite political intrigue going on here. There's some a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, and it's not a super deep book. But it does make you think. And when I say super deep, it's not surface either. It's not just action. It's not just G.I. Joe. There's some depth to it. It's not War and Peace, but there's some depth to it. There's friendships. There's frenemies. There's some enemies. And then there's the list. So Mr. James Reese, as he goes, finds, it's kind of like a domino effect. He'll find one piece of the puzzle and that will lead him to the next piece of the puzzle. And as he's going, he is taking out these pieces of the puzzle in some pretty brutal ways. This book does not hold back. There is some graphicness to this. Graphicness. I like my words. That might be my word of the day. Graphicness. So he's out to punish those responsible for this thing that happened. And while he's doing this, there's maybe a medical issue he has to deal with. Hopefully that's not given too much. A lot of parallels to modern political issues. You can tell that Jack Carr, the author, puts more than a little bit of himself into James Reese. Jack Carr, obviously Navy SEAL. He's been there. You don't get that a ton with authors that write books like this that know the absolute depth and detail and ins and out. In this book, you get the absolute depth, ins and out of equipment, of gear. He probably criticized the equipment I'm wearing, but hey, this is what I was given. So anyway, it's what I got, okay? I like my LARPing. Dark, not your knight in shining armor type of book. It's not going there. Mr. James Reese is definitely wearing some, let's just say red maybe armor, not the shining stuff, because of stuff getting splattered on it maybe. All right. There's some, again, I think my word of the day will be spicy, because it's a spicy revenge, and there's some spicy decisions that Mr. Reese has to make along the way, especially towards the endish, and that's as much as I'm going to give you there. It's one man against, I wouldn't say one man, it's one highly trained warfighter who, this is where the depth of the book comes in. I would say, if I'm going to review this book, I'd say the antagonists, the enemies, lack maybe a little depth. They're out there. It's clear who they are. It's clear what they do. Their motives are clear. There's a couple of them. There's a I don't know, former agent who's kind of working, that you get a little more depth on him that maybe you do some of the others. But the good guy side, you get some depth, you get some backstory, you get relationships. And I think this obviously has to do, I mean, this is Mr. Carr's first book. He's putting himself into it. You can tell he's putting his relationships that he had, fitting those into the book, and showing how a long-time Navy SEAL is going to have friends to help him out. Again, I love the rabbit holes. I'm going down the rabbit hole, but I got to explain that's what's going on. It's a story about friendships, revenge. He uses his contacts to help find these people. He's not doing it all himself. So that's what I'm trying to say. Until he gets to the tip of the spear, when it's time to go in and do the dirty work, James Reese does the dirty work, and that's where you get the Navy SEAL, the fighting, the tactics, the equipment. Really good equipment. That's a one good part of having a person like James Carr write this book, is he knows the equipment. They talk about like Sitka equipment, Pelotor, the goes to the scopes on the guns, the pistols, how they load, and it's correct. You're not going to hear and he loaded a new clip here. And if they do, it's on purpose. Okay? All right, let's drink some whiskey. Book, really good. Let's see if the Utah whiskey bourbon matches up. American Prairie bourbon. And again, ooh, it has an antelope on it. That's how you know it's Prairie. Ooh, I always like that when the smell is really light, maybe even hay and wheat and tea and honey. That light tea, light honey, not usually my flavor, but then you take a sip of it, and it like zap was the word for my last. I'm not going to use zap this time. You get a little bit of a flavor rush on your palate, and it's way more intense than the nose was. Let's try that again. All right. So you got to go in for a second time to really get the flavors. But I'm telling you, I can still tasting it. So there's a finish, but we got to do the palate first. Here we go. All right. The first drink was more of a flavor rush. This one I'm getting a lot more oak tannic right on the top of the tongue. It's going down the sides. There's a little viscosity to it. It's quick viscous. The oil's running down the sides pretty quick. Get slight vanilla, little caramel. Whereas the nose was very, I would say, aromatic, fruity. Really light. Keep going to light. It was really light. Flavor is much more bold. Yeah, that's not bad at all. You could drink that. No funk to it. I was almost expecting, it kind of gives me a flavor rush. Like, oh no, hold on, there's something else there. Check that. There was something a little darker there. Maybe a dark chocolate, not a Hershey's chocolate, but a cooking chocolate. Like has a touch of bitterness, but really good. Really, really good. I don't think I've had a bad bourbon on here yet. I haven't had that many videos, but this is a decent bourbon. I can't remember what the price on this was. I need to get the price. I think this was $45 where I'm from up north. That's worth it all day long. What did I say, 92 proof? Has a little more kick than, and in a good way. Like the flavor punches you more. Like it's a little bit higher proof. Like I'm almost getting a bottled and bond kind of flavor profile to it, with the oak and then the heavy, not heavy, but the viscous. It's going around the mouth. You get a good mouth feel. The flavors are like vanilla, caramel, and oak. It's really a bourbon. It tastes like a bourbon blended with an American whiskey to make it lighter, and maybe like a 1792 or a. Whereas on the nose, I got Buffalo Trace. I'm not getting that at all on the palate. It's definitely not edgy either. You can drink it really easy. It reminds me almost of a Wild Turkey, or not Wild Turkey, a Russell's Reserve 10. It kind of has that flavor profile. Maybe not quite the depth, but the finish is pretty good. I'm getting this on the side of my tongue towards the back. It's just kind of sitting there and getting baking spices a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's okay. A little spicy, which is word of the day. Spicy. Is it revenge spicy? No, it's not revenge spicy. But the leaves a after like numbingness on the tongue in a good way. Like it like if you suck on one of those mints or something for a long time and it just tingles the tongue for a while. So I'll call that spicy. Is it as good as the spicy decisions at the end of the book? No, because those are some good spicy decisions. And there's some lead-ins at the end of the book. But again, we're not going to run this out all night. But the terminal list, which is coming out with on Amazon, I believe July 1st, my birthday. I can't wait. This is one adaptation I want to see. One, because Jack Carr was on set quite a bit. Got to give his input on it. That word escapes me right now. I know there's a word when you go on a set and you give your expertise. I need more bourbon. Anyway, okay. The book, Terminal List. I read this, well, audiobooked it, listened to it, audiobooked it. Awesome. I audiobooked it. I'm going to use that twice. The first time I was kind of like, is this it? I kind of got in the weeds of the equipment. I'm an equipment guy, so I started listening to that, kind of let the story just flow over the top of me. Second time, I got more depth. I got more awesomeness. This is definitely an awesome book. It really, especially for a first in the series, first by an author, former Navy SEAL, you can tell Jack Carr is well read. He understands his stuff. He's got a YouTube channel. You find Jack Carr, Danger Close podcast as well, I believe. I've listened to that a few times. They asked him to give a book list for, oh gosh, if he ever sees this, he's going to kick my butt for not remembering, but basically for, I think it was the Navy War College, but it could just be for folks in the teams, a reading list to I mean, it's smart for operators to understand the world that they're dealing with. And you can tell Jack Carr understands the world that he was dealing with and what dealing with right now. And it shows up in this book. I don't want to go deep by detail in the book because it's so hard not to throw spoilers out there, and I'm not going to do that. This is definitely an A book. It's awesome. I love it. It gives equipment, it gives action, it gives intrigue, it's political intrigue. You get friends, you get enemies, you get definitely more depth on the friend side, but you get the enemies, their goals, what drives them. It definitely pops in the book. And does it go, I love this. This whiskey is actually really good. This could be a daily drinker. Would I say it matches the book? No. I think this book deserves a little higher end whiskey. Book awesome, whiskey decent. More than decent. Good. Give the whiskey a B, B+. I give the book a solid A. And I can't wait. I'm going to continue the series, and we're going to go on from there. And thank you for watching, all however many of you are, and hopefully we increase in the future. And thanks for watching Whiskey Book, and we'll see you next time.